You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Today, a gunman opens fire at a Russian school, killing several students. We'll have the latest on the attack and the ensuing investigation.
Not raining everywhere on this Tuesday morning, but we've got precip on the Skywatch Storm Tracker. We'll have the latest from the Skywatch Weather Center.
And OSIRIS-REx is set to return to Earth with a sample taken from an asteroid. We'll hear from a NASA scientist on how they accomplished the feat. The KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 starts now. Thanks for joining us for the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. We start with some breaking news this morning out of the Russian city of Kazan. At least 9 people are dead and many more wounded after a gunman opened fire in a school. Authorities say 7th, 8th grade students and 1 teacher died in the attack. At least 21 others are hospitalized. Eyewitnesses told Russian state media there was an explosion before the shooting. Several children jumped out of the school window to escape. Police arrested a 19-year-old suspect at the scene, and it is still unclear whether there were any accomplices. The investigation is ongoing. Oklahoma authorities released the identity of a man whose body was found in Tar Creek. Police with the Grand River Dam Authority identified the man as 24-year-old Casey Hampton of Miami. A resident on Saturday found Hampton's body in Tar Creek just north of the Neosho River in Miami. The GRDA recovered his body and took it to a medical examiner. The investigation continues. And Joplin police identify a Joplin man who died in a crash on Saturday. He was 26-year-old Chance Olson. Authorities say Olson was riding his motorcycle going west on 32nd Street when he hit an SUV that was going east and making a turn onto Connecticut. Olson was taken to the hospital where he died. No injuries reported after authorities say a Carl Junction school bus was rear-ended by a truck. It happened yesterday afternoon near the intersection of Fleece Lane and Peace Church Avenue in Jasper County. According to the Missouri State Highway Patrol, the driver of the truck thought the gas pedal was the brake. The Humane Society of the United States releases its annual report highlighting 100 problem puppy sellers. 2021 Horrible 100 report says Missouri tops the list with 21 puppy sellers. Kansas has 7 on the list. Locally in Neosho, Missouri, a dog at J&J Puppies LLC and Puppy Travelers was found lethargic and with dried mucus around its nostrils. And dogs at Whispering Oaks Kennel in Coffeyville, Kansas were photographed in crowded enclosures. However, these businesses were not cited by the USDA. You can find the complete Horrible 100 report on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Joplin city leaders discuss proposed actions to the city's downtown while others express ongoing concerns over parking. We're going to start with the Joplin City Council work session where they discuss plans for renovating Memorial Hall. Council members reviewed a feasibility study for Memorial Hall. The study analyzed the potential cost of renovating Memorial Hall as well as a possible additional annex. For both scenarios, a conservative and an aggressive cost estimate were given.
I've heard from the community, and there's certainly one of the things that we hear a lot about at the city is the need for entertainment and amenities, and this would be a versatile space for the community to have, and something that could provide a lot of different opportunities for and a lot of different entertainment options.
The study was completed by 2 companies called SFS Architects and Ballard King and Associates. The proposed project is once again raising concerns over downtown parking. The issues were brought to the surface last year upon the release of a parking study for the Cornell complex. It's taking the place of the Memorial Hall parking lot, which reduced the amount of parking available downtown. And now the proposed renovation of Memorial Hall itself and a proposed project at the old library called Project Launchpad are reigniting those concerns. Business owners like Blackthorn's Melanie Womble are encouraged by the prospect of potential growth, but feel uneasy about what it could mean for the already problematic parking situation downtown.
I'm very excited about that, and the library, the school going to the old library. Downtown real estate's hard to come by, so they're not adding any more real estate downtown once, So I'm excited about what that's going to do for downtown, but then in the same, I'm worried about what it's going to do to the parking downtown.
The council will hold a meeting tonight to hear more details about Project Launchpad, which would take over the old library building. What pioneering American woman would you like to see featured on a run of U.S. quarters? The National Women's History Museum wants to know your ideas for the new American Women Quarters program. The person you pick must be deceased. So far, poet Maya Angelou and astronaut Sally Ride have earned the honor. Coins with their likeness will be out next year. Their faces will be on one side of the quarters with the first President George Washington on the front. Up to 5 American female icons can be selected. That's pretty cool. I like that.
Sally Ride's on one. I'd nominate Janet Cavandi, Carthage native, Missouri Southern grad.
Okay.
That's my nominee.
I'll have to think about
And my mom. How about that?
No, you missed the point. It said that the person has to be deceased.
Oh, no, I didn't. Dude, I didn't know that.
Yes. They're a pioneering woman.
Isn't there a penalty when I do that on air?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It's called Michael Didn't Pay Attention Again. No. I have to give you a hard time.
I did not know
Yes.
that was a caveat. Okay.
Yes.
I love you, Mom. Miss Cavandi, I think you're stellar as well.
Yes.
And live long and prosper. Wow.
Many moons from now, but not today.
Right. Yeah, I may have blown that one.
We'll come back to your nominee.
Let's just do weather. There's no way for me to get off of this one. I mean, yeah. All right. We've got rain coming down, albeit just May showers in the northern portion of the 4 states in our highlighted counties. Tanya's just losing it over there. She's just laughing hysterically at me right now. What we are seeing right here in portions of central Kansas, it's breaking up before it gets out. That's where we've seen the hard rain, very similar to yesterday. As it rolls in from the west there, it kind of breaks up when it gets to us, except down south yesterday and today up to the north. We do have a flood warning in effect for the Little Osage River that runs until tomorrow evening. It's about 1.5 feet above flood stage right now. It's another chilly morning. We dropped down to 39 in Nevada, 45 in Joplin and Miami. Let's roll 47. That's about our warm point right now in Chanute. Now, mostly cloudy skies for the rest of the day with scattered rain. And eventually, we're going to see some of that rain filter into the southern part of the 4 states. Here it comes just after the noon hour. And that'll be the hardest rain that we get today, is that band that rolls through out of Oklahoma right there. Anywhere from, I'd say, 1/4 to maybe 1/2 inch of accumulation. Shouldn't have any flooding concerns. And then finally, after it becomes the scattered variety overnight, we get a little sunshine Wednesday afternoon. Tanya?
Well, up next, just one more step before a COVID vaccine receives full authorization for ages 12 and up, what parents can do to prepare. And why a Missouri prosecutor says the murder conviction of a Kansas City man over 4 decades ago was a mistake. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. One hurdle down, one more to go. Tomorrow, the CDC will vote on whether to recommend Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine to kids 12 to 15 years old after the FDA extended its emergency use authorization on Monday. But as Britt Conway reports, pediatricians are already prepping to get shots into arms as soon as the CDC gives the green light. And doctors say there are preparations parents can make too.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, stick.
Pfizer just got the FDA's stamp of approval to extend the emergency use authorization for its COVID-19 vaccine for kids 12 to 15 years old. The FDA calls it a significant step in the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic.
It was a relatively straightforward decision. The response to the vaccine was excellent, and in fact, it was even better in the younger age group.
Now, it's up to the CDC. A vaccine advisory committee will meet Wednesday to decide whether to recommend the vaccine for that age group. Because it's the same vaccine, it's already available in a number of places, and pediatricians are prepping to get the vaccine too. making sure they have a freezer that's cold enough, training staff, and figuring out record keeping. They're also talking to parents. Childhood vaccinations have plunged since the pandemic began, and doctors say parents need to make sure their kids are up to date on all of their vaccines, knowing COVID-19 vaccines could be available by Thursday.
Getting more of our population vaccinated is critical to moving forward and past this pandemic.
Some parents are hesitant.
For my children, great immune systems, healthy, and we don't know what the vaccine does yet.
Others are ready, grateful.
A lot of peace of mind, a huge relief, to know that there's something out there that can protect him and all of our kids.
Okay, all set.
I'm Britt Conway reporting.
Well, the FDA scheduled a meeting next month to talk about COVID-19 vaccines for children under the age of 12. We've got something exciting coming up this week on KOAM and Fox 14. On Thursday, we'll be hosting Vaccine Day. Experts from Mercy Hospital Joplin will be taking your calls and answering your questions regarding the COVID-19 vaccine. Be sure to tune in to each newscast, starting with the KOAM Morning News, for our special Vaccine Day special. Well, Count Dracula's thirst for blood moves from a bite in the neck to a stab wound. Tourists can get a shot in the arm when they enter Dracula's castle in Transylvania, Romania. Doctors and nurses with fang stickers on their scrubs are offering free Pfizer COVID-19 shots for any takers. It's an effort to help contain the coronavirus and boost tourism. Those who get vaccinated also get free entry to an exhibit of dozens of medieval torture instruments.
I did not see that line coming at the end.
I love this. Well, you got to do something fun with it. So
Hey, like I said, making a push for it. So that thing looks tremendously scary right there. No, thank you.
be like, do you want to get poked and prodded and stretched on this
Right.
machine, or a little prick in the arm?
I'll roll up my sleeve. Live look outside of Television City. We've yet to pick up any raindrops here at the mothership, but we know what's coming eventually as everything filters in from the western part, and light rain for our far northern counties. If you're on your way up to Kansas City, whether it be via I-49 or Highway 69, you're going to run into this. However, we're able to keep the majority of the heavy rain out to our west. We haven't encountered anything of substance, nor any lightning or thunder. We do have a flood warning, however, for the Little Osage River in Vernon County that runs all the way until tomorrow evening. 45 in Joplin and Miami. Chanute checking in at 47. Nevada dipping down to 39. And here we are in the middle portion of May. We should only bottom out around 54. Oh, look at that. That 39, that's getting real close to that record low. 75, oh, it'd be nice, but we're going to have to wait till the weekend. Severe weather for our Tuesday is going to stay down through Texas on the Gulf Coast to the mid-Atlantic, as mirrored by the severe thunderstorm risk map. That's right where the jet stream follows along. That's just the minimal category. Luckily, we don't see any low in the contiguous 48. Highs only in the mid-50s today. Let's talk about the rain that sticks around, becomes a little bit more widespread as we approach the noon hour. Watch the bottom of your screen here. This thing's going to roll out of Oklahoma City, and we get clipped on the far northern edge of a band that stretches from us down to the Red River. That'll be our heaviest rain for late afternoon, early evening hours. Take a line of Pittsburgh, move south. That'll kind of be our dividing line there. Finally, some sunshine on Wednesday. Thursday is looking delightful, and then back to the 70s to end the work week. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
It's time to honor today's four-state hero, Senior Airman Neil Little, a member of the United States Air Force from 1961 to 1963. He served in Vietnam. His hometown, Galena, Kansas. We are proud to salute Neil Little, our four-state hero. A Kansas City man serving time for a triple murder is innocent. That's what the Midwest Innocence Project says. And Jackson County Prosecutor Gene Peters Baker agrees. Kevin Strickland has been in jail since 1978. If he's freed, this will be one of the longest wrongful convictions in American history. Here's Angie Riccono with the story.
Today, my job is to apologize. It is important to recognize when the system has made wrongs. And what we did in this case was wrong.
Jackson County Prosecutor Jean Peters Baker openly apologized to a man who has spent most of his life in prison.
I am profoundly sorry. I am profoundly sorry for the harm that has come to you.
Here's what Kevin Strickland looked like when he was arrested at 18. Today, Strickland is 61 and uses a wheelchair. Strickland always said he was innocent in a triple murder that happened late at night at 69th and Benton.
And he was just 18 years old.
Now he has public acknowledgement.
New fingerprint testing on the murder has excluded Mr. Strickland as its source, but Mr. Strickland is still in prison.
A surviving victim picked Strickland in a lineup. The new legal petition says police pressured her and she tried to right that wrong before she died. She sent an email in 2009 to the Midwest Innocence Project asking for help. I am seeking info on how to help someone that was wrongfully accused.
And even to Cynthia Douglas and her family, she too was a victim.
The new petition before the Supreme Court points out Strickland had an alibi verified by numerous people. No physical evidence connects him to the crime. 2 admitted gunmen cleared Strickland in sworn confessions. In the end, those 2 gunmen cut deals and each served 10 years. A third suspect was never tried, and the man confused for Kevin Strickland simply walked. Today, Strickland is the only person sitting in prison for what happened 43 years ago. And now investigators who looked at this case agree it's a terrible mistake.
Wow. There are additional concerns about how the jury was picked, and there is still a lengthy legal process ahead. Another half hour of news and weather is just ahead. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14, a good deed acknowledged.
Community effort to help feed the hungry in Miami has picked up steam and received some recognition. I'm Zach Dodge with the story.
And the 3 things you should consider before traveling to Europe this summer. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back.
Hey, you.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:31. Let's take a look at today's top stories. Oklahoma authorities released the identity of a man whose body was found in Tar Creek. Police with the Grand River Dam Authority identified the man as 24-year-old Casey Hampton of Miami. A resident on Saturday found Hampton's body in Tar Creek just north of the Neosho River in Miami. The GRDA recovered his body and took it to a medical examiner. The investigation continues. Joplin police identify a Joplin man who died in a crash on Saturday. He was 26-year-old Chance Olson. Authorities say Olson was riding his motorcycle going west on 32nd Street when he hit an SUV that was going east and making a turn onto Connecticut. Olson was taken to the hospital where he died. No injuries reported after authorities say a Carl Junction school bus was rear-ended by a truck. It happened yesterday afternoon near the intersection of Fleece Lane and Peace Church Avenue in Jasper County. According to the Missouri State Highway Patrol, the driver of the truck thought the gas pedal was the brake. And the Humane Society of the United States releases its annual report highlighting 100 problem puppy sellers. The 2021 Horrible 100 report says Missouri tops the list with 21 puppy sellers. Kansas has 7 on the list. Locally in Neosho, Missouri, a dog at J&J Puppies LLC and Puppy Travelers was found lethargic with dried mucus around its nostrils. And dogs at Whispering Oaks Kennel in Coffeyville, Kansas were photographed in crowded enclosures. However, these businesses were not cited by the USDA, and you can find the complete Horrible 100 report on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Joplin city leaders discuss proposed additions to the city's downtown, while others express ongoing concerns over parking. We start with the Joplin City Council work session. They discussed plans for renovating Memorial Hall. Council members reviewed a feasibility study for Memorial Hall. The study analyzed the potential cost of renovating Memorial Hall as well as a possible additional annex. More concerns are raised involving parking in downtown Joplin, with discussions of 2 new developments in the works. Last year, business owners raised concerns over a parking study for the Cornell complex now being built on 7th Street. The complex is taking the place of Memorial Hall parking lot, which reduced the amount of parking available downtown. And now the proposed renovation of Memorial Hall itself and the proposed project at the old library called Project Launchpad are reigniting those concerns. The council will hold a meeting tonight to hear more details about Project Launchpad, which would take over the old library building. The sinkholes drained about 1/3 of a man-made lake at a park in St. Louis County, Missouri. Park officials say the sinkhole is about the size of an SUV. They have shut down the road near the hole and are trying to figure out what steps to take next. Park officials said the sinkhole was expected because of how the lake was created on a rock bed. A similar one formed back in 2016. Officials say the hole could have been caused by a 2.4 magnitude earthquake felt in the park on April 20th. There's still no timetable on when the hole will be filled.
I just looked this up. I'm not familiar with Lone Elk Park, and so I don't really have an idea about how big that lake is, but any hole that's going to drain 1/3
Wow.
of a lake? My goodness. All right, so
where's all this water going?
That's a great question. I went ahead and I found it here on the national map on the Skywatch Storm Tracker. It is right in between Sunset Hills and Eureka. There's Sunset Hills right there. It's about right there is where this lake once was, I guess. Now there's only 2/3 of it left. Let's come back out, reset here for the 4 states as we've had our rain move in from the west to east today. Kind of a flip of the script from yesterday, where everything dominated the southern portion of the 4 states, but still looking at very light rain. Everything that's heavy is either staying up through central Kansas, going to the north, or breaking up right before it gets to us. We're starting to see a little bit of it filter in to the central portion of southeast Kansas, but no lightning, and we don't have any flooding concerns, minus a flood warning for the Little Osage River there in Vernon County, Missouri, and that lasts all the way until tomorrow evening. A little bit of chill in the air out there, 43 in Iola, 45s in Joplin and Miami, 46s in both Cassville and in Anderson. Severe weather for today does stay down to the bottom of the United States. I want to get to future track here because we're going to have some more widespread rain as we approach the noon hour. Works in from the south right there. Find ourselves on the northern tip of a band that stretches all the way down to Texas. That'll be our heaviest rain for the late afternoon, early evening hours. Anywhere from 1/4 to 1/2 an inch, but still nothing severe. So that's the good part of it. And then we finally get some sunshine on Wednesday. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this. KOAM News Now Instapoll and our morning Facebook question. Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson says his state is ending participation in the federal unemployment program that gives unemployed Americans an additional $300 a week. Simply put, our question to you is, should your state end the extra $300 of unemployment benefits? And right now, an overwhelming 90%, it has consistently stayed in the 90 percentile there throughout the entire morning. You say, yes, your state should end the additional $300. Arkansas is expected to opt out after June 26th. Tanya?
Well, Michael, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce wants Washington to immediately stop paying the extra benefit. The business lobby says the boost in government aid is giving some recipients less incentive to look for work. It also says about 1 in 4 recipients are taking home more in unemployment pay than what they earned when they were employed. The European Union could be on the verge of welcoming American travelers. Mandy Gaither has what one expert says you should consider before booking your flights.
More than a year after it halted all non-essential travel to contain the coronavirus, the EU could soon welcome back tourists just in time for summer.
Countries like Croatia, Greece are already open, and if you're vaccinated, you don't need to do any pre-testing.
A proposal released a week ago would restrict entry to people from countries with low COVID-19 infection rates. A key part of the plan is something called a digital green certificate, which travelers to Europe would carry to prove they've been vaccinated or are immune to the virus.
It looks like June should be a go for Spain and France. I think the big question now is the UK. We haven't heard when the UK will open, but it's looking good.
If you're planning to travel to Europe, one expert says keep these 3 things in mind. Number 1, do your research. Each individual member nation will decide when and how to relax border restrictions. Check to make sure you meet the requirements as rules are still being amended. Number 2, get vaccinated because when it comes to cruises,
you must be vaccinated to go on any of the cruises that are currently available this summer.
And 3, you'll need a negative COVID-19 test to fly back to the U.S. That's regardless of whether you've been vaccinated or not. For Consumer Watch, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Based on current CDC travel rules, all travelers ages 2 and older flying to the U.S. from abroad must show a negative viral COVID-19 test result taken within 72 hours of departure before being allowed to board their flights. We'll be right back with more after this, but first, let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell. Well, we've got something exciting coming up this week on KOAM and Fox 14. On Thursday, we'll be hosting Vaccine Day. Experts from Mercy Hospital Joplin will be taking your calls and answering your questions regarding the COVID-19 vaccine. Be sure to tune in to each newscast, starting with the KOAM Morning News for our Vaccine Day special. In February, we told you about a local woman and a restaurant owner who started a giving wall where customers can pay for meals for those in need. Now, only a few months later, the idea has expanded and the state has taken notice. KOAM's Zach Dodge has the story.
Pickles or a juicy cheeseburger and fries. Sounds good and can be had by everyone, even if they can't pay.
The ticket's already been paid for.
Because of the generosity of others.
We probably get 30 put up a day and probably at least 20 get pulled down every day.
The giving wall at Zach's Cafe in Miami has been almost as big of a hit as sliced bread. Started in February, there's already been 400 tickets put on the wall, but it's not surprising to co-owner Lacey Perry.
I knew our community would support it. Everything that we all try to get together on always works really well.
At the Doghouse in Miami, around 1,000 meals have been put up since it started in February. That's around $10,000.
It's been exciting. I had to expand to a second wall.
All going to people who need it, from teenagers all the way to seniors who may be struggling.
Nobody had to give. Nobody is forced to, and they've just gone above and beyond to take care of their neighbors.
And the movement is spreading. Montana Mike's in Miami started a wall in February as well, and one was started in Veneta too.
I hope it continues to stick around, and not just that, but hopefully give people other good ideas. I want to know how we can help next.
Because of that giving attitude, Zach's Cafe and the Doghouse received some recognition. An official citation from the State House of Representatives.
And I'm really just thankful that everyone's seeing all the hard work that all of us little restaurants are doing, and I just hope that more people jump on.
But they aren't taking all the credit, because it wouldn't be possible without the generosity of their small town.
Just speaks volumes about how awesome our town is. I hope our town keeps continuing to be amazing.
In Miami, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
Perry and White say they've received donations from people all over the country, and even from people in Australia and Germany.
It's such an amazing thing that they're doing. It is a great town, great four-state town. I'm curious to know, as far as donations coming in from Australia and Germany, and once again, I asked the question but don't have an answer. I wonder if that's the power of social media at work.
Oh, I would assume so. I mean, obviously I don't want to be wrong about that, but it's amazing what social media can do.
It's amazing what happens in the four states. We've seen it happen time and time again since you and I have both been here for decades now, how everybody comes together. Tanya, we've got a little bit of everything, including blue sky and sunshine outside of Television City right here. We also have cool temperatures as we only sit in the 40s with a little bit of a wind chill. And on top of that, oh yes, we've got some Tuesday morning rain as well. Complete opposite of what we had yesterday, as it was rolling in from west to east in the southern portion of the four states. This morning, it's the north. But like yesterday, once again, west to east track, and also too, very, very light. We're talking about May showers, comparatively speaking, for what they had portions of central Kansas right there. That's where we've seen the hardest rain, but just breaks up before it gets to us. Now, that being said, we do have a flood warning for the Little Osage River in Vernon County, Missouri, lasting all the way until tomorrow evening. It's about 1.5 feet above flood stage right now, but slowly going down. 45 in Joplin, let's roll 46 in Miami, where we just heard from our own Zach Dodge, and 46 as well in Nevada. Nice little rebound up to the north, where earlier temperatures got down actually about 39 degrees. Right below the jet stream throughout Texas, the Gulf, and then to the mid-Atlantic is where we'll see our severe thunderstorm risk map. Positive aspect of it all is, in the contiguous 48, we don't even see anybody hit the low category. Remember that lighter green, that's simply thunderstorms. And yeah, while we see it just come up right to the edge of our counties, we're not looking at anything severe by any means. Still going to be a cool one though, around 58, 59 degrees this afternoon. What we've got on future track here, that's that band. That's why we did pop up just a little bit on the severe thunderstorm risk map here, as it generates from the Red River, runs through OKC, and then kind of makes a little horseshoe through us. This will give us anywhere from about 1/4 to 1/2 inch of rain beginning around the noon hour, lasting into the, say, early evening. Should be done with it by 9, 10 o'clock, and then we're more of the scattered variety, and the rain really lightens up. Now, it does stick around into Wednesday morning, but then after that, we begin to clear off later in the morning and actually get a little sunshine on Wednesday, but still stuck in the low 60s. Thursday, going to be delightful, mid-60s with a whole lot of sunshine. And then Friday, we get up to 70 degrees. Little rain kicks in Friday night that takes us into Saturday, but look at the warming trend on our hands as we've got 75s and 80s coming up. We'll be back and wrap up this edition of the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this.
Welcome back to the KOAM and Morning News on Fox 14. Here's what's happening today. The FDA has authorized Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine for children ages 12 to 15. Tomorrow, a CDC advisory committee will vote on whether to approve the authorization. If it does, roughly 17 million children and teenagers will be eligible to receive their first shots. A pipeline stretching from Texas to New Jersey remains offline following a cyber attack. Normally, nearly half the East Coast fuel supply runs through the Colonial Pipeline. It was shut down Friday after hackers targeted its computer systems. Colonial hopes to reopen the pipeline by the end of this week. And the horse racing world is awaiting the results of a second drug test performed on Kentucky Derby winner Medina Spirit. The colt failed a drug test a week after the victory at Churchill Downs. Trainer Bob Baffert said the test or the horse itself may have been contaminated. Let's check in with Michael with a final look at your forecast.
Even down to the south, where we're getting some blue sky and sunshine early on, remember, the cloud cover is going to grow and you're going to see some rain as well as it passes through to the north, then picks up action in the south around the noon hour. We'll see anywhere from about 1/4 to 1/2 inch of rain as this thing rolls through. Take a line from Pittsburgh, run down to the south. That's kind of your dividing line is where we'll see the heaviest rain. Finally getting a break on Wednesday and some sunshine tomorrow afternoon, but temperatures don't warm up until Thursday and Friday.
A legendary piece of artwork from Leonardo da Vinci may set a record when it heads to auction this summer. The drawing of a bear's head, fittingly titled Head of a Bear, dates back to the early 1480s. The piece is expected to fetch between $11.14 to $16.7 million when it hits the auction block at Christie's in London this July. It measures just under 3 inches and was drawn by Silver Point on a pink beige.
I love it for such an artistic, creative genius. He, after doing such a marvelous piece of work, they're like, "What are you going to call it, Leah?" He's like, "Head of a bear." Got it.
I like it.
And I'm done. Thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. Back with more news and weather when we see you at noon.
Have a great morning and an even better day.